Africa is the future. Hi y'all, it's Salima, the host of Positive Continent News. Welcome back to my channel. It's been a little bit of a minute, but we're back at it again, and we're going to be uploading, or I'm going to be uploading as for right now, on a regular schedule, which means for me, weekly or bi-weekly, depending on what are the news updates. Make sure you like, you share, you subscribe, you hit that notification bell so you can know when the latest updates are uploaded onto the channel. And thank you for all the subscribers. Any feedback that I have or get, very appreciative. So join me, because stay tuned, really. I'm going to be updating y'all with the latest little updates that I got. So this story is relating to the Gates Foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill Gates, to my knowledge, is one of the co-founders of, at the time when I was younger, it was called Apple Macintosh, but now it's just called Apple. And he has a foundation who has, for many years, done experiments on the continent that we call Africa. And this latest story is coming out of two of the countries. One is Burkina Faso and one is Namibia. So in Burkina Faso, Bill Gates wanted to do an experiment in which he and his organization would release genetically modified mosquitoes into the environment. This was supposed to be a sort of cure for malaria, which is caused from mosquitoes. And Ibrahim Traore, the current president, was like, nah, he completely closed it down. It began in about 2022, or they were kind of starting things up, but he completely shut it down as of this year, this summer, like August. He was just like, he packed up everything and was like, y'all got to get up out of here. I believe any other samples was either confiscated and or destroyed, but let's kind of delve into this a little bit. It kind of just screams population control when you have genetically modified organisms that you're releasing into an environment that you don't currently live in. And that's what has the public suspicious. Why don't you release this where you're from? So this ties into historical global medical racism and using Black bodies, whether it be wherever they are, as testing, placebo, you can say, just using it as experiments, right? Because they're disposable. That's the message that has been given. So thankfully, Mr. Traore was like, bye-bye. And the former leaders have agreed to these things in different ways, but this is the new generation of the continent. He was like, gotta go. So I salute him for that, because it shows that you really care about your people. So the foundation, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, as I mentioned earlier, they also went to Namibia, and they wanted to test IUDs, aka intrauterine devices, on their women. It was going to be an 8-year hormonal device that's inserted into women, because they have them here in many supposedly developed nations, Western nations, whatever, that it's, birth control is readily available, and it's inserted into the woman, like around her uterus. And they wanted to test it on their population. Well, the president, NNN, Miss Ondetwa, she basically was like, we only have about 3 million people, which is one of the smallest populations for a country, not only on the continent, but around the world. I'm sorry, you can't do that here. This screams, again, population control. Why don't you go test on your own people? And she said the same thing to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Why don't you go test where you are? So this indicates that people are now not falling for, you give me money and you can use our population for test subjects. And I'm really proud of them, because it takes a lot to stand for it. And we're trying to grow the population, or they are, because I'm not physically on the continent at this moment living there. We're not trying to decrease it, but this all screams population control, because if you don't know, the continent has the largest, youngest population in the world, which means, as I've said this for the last 5 years, Africa is the future. Naomi Palula is a Zambian attorney that recently went viral for her looks on Instagram. Zambia, if you don't know, is one of the Bantu countries, majority countries in the southern part of the continent. And I would say Bantu kind of starts around Cameroon and it goes down to like Congo and the different further down south, Uganda, many of these places, even Southern Africa, South Africa, they're all Bantu family ethnic groups. So one of the key features of Bantoid people is the wider noses, right? It all has to do with genetics and evolution, etc., adapting to your environment. I would say that when I actually came across Miss Palula's photo or profile on Instagram before she went viral, and I was a little bit taken aback because although I'm used to seeing wider noses, I had never seen one that wide before, and I'm not saying anything was wrong with it, but I actually admired her courage to come online and be herself, and she actually seemed like a very sweet person. Well, a couple of weeks later, her features went viral and she experienced what we call featureism. And it opens up the conversation of self-love. She had so many negative comments on a particular post. And what really impressed a lot of people, including myself, was that despite all of these negative comments on that post, she kept it up. Other people would have made their profile private. They would have deleted the picture. She did not do that. And I can respect her for that. And I love that like another YouTuber was like, what do you want these people to do? If they're not considered aesthetically beautiful by the masses, what should they do? Should they get rid of themselves? Should they hate themselves? They're still valuable. And there's beauty is multifaceted. And that's what's so wonderful about it. Not only is it in the eye of the beholder, but some people find intelligence beautiful or body structure beautiful or your aura or your energy, and she seems to have a wonderful energy, and she's getting a lot of support because when I first came across her Instagram, she had about 20K followers. Now she has about like I think 130 or something K, 120K. And people need an example because not everybody is aesthetically beautiful or considered the beauty standard. And even me, as someone of West African descent who grew up in the United States, I've struggled a lot because I was not considered the standard of beauty. Now things are changing with stronger features, you know, that's considered the it thing now, especially when you have direct roots on the continent. But child, when I was younger, it was so hard. So I definitely respect Miss Palula. She's an intelligent woman. She's like a finance attorney that was educated in Australia. It said that she has a Netflix deal. She was also invited to Paris Fashion Week. So keep doing your thing, Miss Palula, and thank you for being yourself and showing us how to love ourselves unapologetically. And for men, just if you don't find that woman sexually attractive, that does not mean that she's disposable. She matters. And her person, I'm sure her person will find her sooner or later. So if you might be under a rock, you know that here in the United States, we're under the regime. I was going to say regimen, really regime. I can't even say administration of Trump. And it's some nonsense going on with ICE and deporting illegals. And many of the time, these people are not even illegal immigrants. So what he's been doing is just, I don't know what this is, sending people to random countries. So in July of this year, he sent a man, he was a Mexican immigrant, I guess illegal. His name was Jesus Munoz Gutierrez. He sent him all the way to South Sudan. I don't know why. If anybody knows why, please let me know. And this is not the first. So the man had been in South Sudan. Finally, he was sent back to Mexico this month, September 2025. And one of the diplomats of Mexico who's in Sudan, you know, kind of stood by the man and helped him through the process. And the reason I'm reporting this video is because we got to give South Sudan a hand of applause because they treated him so well and sent him on his merry way back to his country. And as we would say in one of my culture, it not spoil, it wasn't in vain. So now this is going to increase relationships with Mexico and South Sudan. And we're probably going to see more relationships connected with the continent, especially in South America and Central America. So that's dope. That's the dope part of it. The crazy part is, why are you sending a Mexicano to South Sudan who has nobody they knows there, has no business there? At least he got to see a new part of the world. So I just wanted to share this story. Zambezi, again, it has come up in topic as it was named, or has been named, one of the most beautiful places to go by a book. It's a travel book called Frommer's, which I guess started in 1957, but it's supposed to be an iconic travel book for a certain demographic. So once again, Zambia is up in the headlines with positive news in this case. So I know I would like to visit Zambia. Have you all visited? You know, we all need to go there and enjoy the beautiful energy in different climates and environments in the safari in Zambia. So shout out to all my Zambians, you know, twice in these news, but I just wanted to include that so people can, you know, look up Zambia and try to get an idea of the environment and the culture, and let's increase tourism to Zambia. Okay, so that was my last story for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to uploading again very soon. Thank you for your patience. And once again, don't forget to like, to share, to subscribe, because we in here. Positive content and news. Come be a part of our village. You won't regret it. And I'm the host, Alima. Bye-bye.